Okay, we're back. So time for putting it together for real this time. We haven't tried it with a belt yet, so it'll be the first time with that. So I always like putting the belt with the numbers looking out towards you, not upside down. You should always put the belt in the same direction every time. If you reverse it, then it pulls the opposite direction. It can tend to tear it more, destroy it. So once you got it stretched one way, keep it always stretching the same way. I don't know if it makes any difference, but I think it does, so that's how I do it. Okay, this is the hard part here. We've got to figure out where the spline this goes on goes. Right, that one, get close. Seems like good clearance. Okay, now we got to try to put the front pulley on here. Just over here you can see a little better maybe. It's hard to see. So most of the time this is a tension belt, so it doesn't just fold together like you want it to. So usually what you got to do is you got to pull this back out a little bit so the belt is straight, because when the belt's cocked it makes it shorter. So we got to try to get this thing to start on here. If you can just wedge it on an angle, you can usually force it on after that. But it's always harder to get it here than up in the front, so always put the back on first. There it is right there. Just go on a little bit like this each time. So you have a lot of, no, so you don't have a lot of clearance. See, that's all the clearance you got. So anyway, you got to kind of work them in a little bit each way. That's how you do it. Never roll a belt on or do something stupid like that. All it does is stretch the belt, break it internally, and it'll probably break really soon after put together. So that's how you do it. Okay, red Loctite. Red Loctite on the threads. There we go. Okay, get our Tatro net over here. Conventional thread. This one over here, backwards thread. Okay. Zip gun. Doesn't matter which one you do first. Well, that's adequately torqued. Ah, son of a bitch. That bit me. Thumb injury. You hit against that edge right there. It tends to cut the material off your thumb. So when it went backwards, it went boop right across there. I felt that. Even though it's a radiused edge, it still breaks through your skin, see? So I should have held it right like that. Then when I hit back there, would have hit it real good, but usually I just hold it like that. That's what I do, and that's why I hit. So anyway, that's how much torque you're holding back, whatever it gets from just that quick zip. Suck, suck, suck. Ah, it's good to go. Disinfected. That's how you do it around me. Kill the germs or your own germs. It also makes it so it doesn't bleed all over you. Suck the blood away. Okay, that's good. That still hurts though. Okay, now we're going to put our clutch in here. They talk about how you're supposed to soak these in oil and stuff like that. And, you know, it's a really good idea how they tell you to do all that crap. I never do any of it. Kevlar material works wet, dry, or semi-wet or dry. Obviously, if it's dry, it works the best because oil makes it slip. So why would you put oil in your clutch when it's a dry clutch application? That's pretty stupid. And all it does is put oil all over your belt. Belts do not like having oil on them, especially with a lot of detergent in it. ATF has a very high amount of detergent, which is very bad for belts. So that's why you don't use it. So we'll put them in dry. Now, this clutch hub requires some kind of a backing plate, because right now all you got is these little titties sticking up over there. You have to have something to push against. So backing plate's going to be really thick. So see, I get a bunch of thin plates, and there's one real thick one right here. That's the backing plate. That is not a backing plate. See the difference? There's a sum. All cleaned up. Okay, now there's no edge either direction, so I put the sharp edge out. That way you get the most area hitting against the plate. You can also do it the other way if you want. Depends on what theory you want to go with. Okay, that should slip in there nice and easy. It does. Okay, now, do you put two steel plates together or do you put a fiber in there? You already got a steel in there, you might as well put a fiber. Now these are round dog, that's why they call them round dog. And they also used to call this the quiet clutch. The reason they call it quiet is because it doesn't make as much noise as everything else. If these things go back and forth, they rattle on these dials, go tit-tit-tit like that back and forth. Now the early bikes you only have 6 to hit against, this one's probably got like 12. So that's got twice as much area to hit against. Shouldn't make as much noise. In the real world, they all make noise. See, all this stuff slips together real nice and easy. I can even do it with one hand. And my left one too. I can also use my right hand. Scooby's making noise over there. Scooby's sucking on his balls. Scooby! Hey! What's going on over there? Is it dinner time or something over there? He doesn't know what to do. It's almost dinner time. It's 11 o'clock. And that would be the dark 11, not the bright 11. Okay, so you do all this. If you do it correctly, it should work out. Oh geez, we're out of plates. What do we do now? We need more plates. Oh, there's another plate. We must have did it right. Now, see how this sticks out a little bit right here? Now, if it doesn't stick out, then this has nothing to hit against. And it will bind up on everything when it catches that edge. Instead of going in and out on the spline, it will come out and catch on the outside edge, and the clutch won't re-engage. Not very good. So we want to make sure you got enough to stick on there to do it. There it goes. There's not much. You can only come out about 100th thou here. See, that's about how much you can come out. Still have engagement. If you come out too far, it disengages too much. So if you release this clutch too far, it will pop out and it'll hang up, and you will be in neutral. Okay, so see all those holes right there? You have to get them where they line up. Disengaged again. Oh, that is a free plate. Oh, look at that. This one doesn't matter. That was stuck on there. Oh. it wasn't built in, it was stuck on there. That's why I couldn't get the holes to line up. So these are your springs and your bolts. These are shoulder bolts. You can only compress the spring as far as the shoulder will let you. Now if you want more tension on the clutch, you got different ways of doing it. You put different springs in it. You can shim it tighter by putting shim washers under here until these coil bind. There's all kinds of tricks. You can leave some springs out. As long as you got an even pattern where it works evenly, you can do it. If they're all on one side, obviously it doesn't work. There's all kinds of tricks you can do. Whatever you want can be done. Okay, now, this rotates freely. Put these in. There's a little bit of clutch compression as I'm doing this. Clutch is already locked up, see? Because I got tension on it. Oh, you got one. Okay, now these can go in dry, or you can put Loctite on them. I put a little blue on is what I use. That way they can stay put in there a little bit. Except for different applications, you can do different amounts of springs. So this has a 113 motor, it makes a lot of horsepower and a lot of torque. So I'll put all the springs in. But like I said, you can do patterns. This here's a 4-pattern clutch. You got 4 of them in here. So like someone out there chasing somebody. There's at least 3 or 4 cop cars going down out there. More and more car chases around here. And bike chases too. Okay, you can also do a 6-pattern. Do an 8-pattern. You gotta do in multiples of 12 or 2s. That means you can't do 5 or 7. So you've got all kinds of patterns. Here's an 8-pattern. Evenly spaced so they work. So how come we don't have any more springs? So it appears that we're going to be using a 9 pattern because they only gave us 9 springs. Yep, that's what they gave me. So we're going to do a 9 pattern. That means we're going to do 3, 3, and 3s. I guess they figure that's all you need for a big bike. Guess you got to pay extra to get all the springs. Okay, so that one comes out. This one here comes out. Goes over here. This one comes out. Oh, dumbass. This one comes out. Over here. Okay, there's a 9 pattern. It's got 9. 3, 3, and 3 is 9. So you can do 8, do 4, 2 doesn't work. 3 would work. 6, 9, do all 12 you have more springs. They only give you 9, so I guess that's all we need. You got enough room to put 12 in there if you need it. they've already determined you didn't need it, so oh well. Okay, now we gotta tighten these all up. Have to find the right Allen socket. There, I think it's this one. I'd be wrong. It sure the hell didn't look like that one to me, but nope, that's the one it is. Okay. So go down and put a little torque on it. Now don't strip these out. Or break them. So these springs are almost coil bound. Can't be very much clutch movement. Yeah. They are packed all the way in. I don't know if it even release. See what I mean by packed all the way in. Unpacked, packed. There's not a lot of room in there. My fingernail barely fits in between each coil. So they are definitely packed in there pretty hard. You normally have some room for the coil to work, but anyway. Okay, a little more torque on that. Okay, it's pretty tight. Put the big ratchet on it. Make sure they are pretty tight. So if you over torque them with a shoulder bolt, it might strip, it might break it off before it strips, but neither one of those two you want to do. Make me bleed and all that pressure. Yeah, good to go. Okay, where's our screw at? Here's our screw. So this needs to have a little grease on here. You don't want to put stuff in dry. You can, but most things don't like being dry. I think that's the police helicopter out there flying around looking for somebody. Okay, a little fancy grease here in case you didn't get that. It's called Maxima. Okay, why are you looking at me? I'm not important. I'm supposed to be looking at the clutch. Okay, so got two O-rings here. Keep the oil in tranny. And you want to lubricate the push rod tip. Don't hurt to put a little oil in the threads or grease. Kind of like anti-seize almost. Yeah, it does not want to go in there. It's not going to be easy on the O-ring when I screw it all the way through. It's not going all the way through. Force it. O-rings are not happy campers. Okay, I tighten this up here, the lever up here. Right here moves, see? Why did the whole thing just move? This whole thing just moved right here. And it didn't. Whole clutch basket moved out. That was not supposed to do that. So what the hell moved? That was a weird one. Springs aren't letting me move anyway. Something is not correct here, boss. I don't know why the whole thing moved. So, something is wrong. What did I do wrong? I don't know. Alright, be back in a minute.